Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for coming back for yet another video. To get straight to the point, I'll tell you what we're working on today. It's a Honda HRR216. I picked it up last fall. It was posted for a few days. I saw it, I kind of moved past it in my Facebook Marketplace. And then a couple days later, I saw it again. I was like, all right, what the heck? It was $30. When I got there, nice kid, he's probably my age, in his late 20s, early 30s. This thing was just beat up and neglected and abused. I'm not surprised that it's still kicking. It's a Honda, and Hondas are usually made pretty well. The guy said it ran, and when I got there, I didn't start it. I don't know why I didn't, but I should have. A couple things that are wrong with it. The air filter and air box cover is missing. The front wheel is really wonky. I don't really know how to explain it other than it's just kind of limping along. The guy actually mowed with it that way, I think for the last like 6 to 12 months that he used it. The thing is just trudging along. So I'm not gonna check for spark, we're gonna figure that out while we go. There are timestamps in the description. If you feel like skipping through one part or another that is conveniently there, you just tap on whatever timestamp and it'll take you right to that part in the video. I will give one quick disclaimer, not that it's probably gonna bug anybody but myself, as there was some audio file corruption later in the video. It's not that bad, I might be hyping it up a little bit, but it's there, and I'm sorry. All right, let's tear into this one. Okay, before we pull this over, I'm gonna check that oil. It's full, but it is very, very dirty. All right, we'll get a little bit of fuel down there. Obviously, we don't have an air filter or the cover, which we will need, but. All right, let me get this guy down off this little table and we'll pull it over. If for some reason it runs and it keeps running, I'm just gonna let it go, and I wanna see, you know, just what it sounds like, make sure there's no major smoking or anything like that, and then I will probably just hit it with some sea foam, any carbon that's in there cleaned out. I'm hoping it stays running like the guy said, but we'll see. It's a Honda. All right guys, I got the seafoam all flushed through there. A couple more things I want to do. There's a little bit of vibration in here. I don't believe that crankshaft is bent, but I do want to verify that. Then just kind of some general underside analysis, see what the blade looks like. I have a feeling, just because this thing has been in a very abusive relationship, that it probably needs a lot of attention. We got that wheel that we got to fix. And then the last thing is, you see, you know, those wheels are very bare, and those wheels have some tread on them. So what happens, there's these plastic like bushings on that shaft, and they can just kind of wear down. That's my assumption at this point, but I'll show you what I mean. It should roll freely backwards. It should click forwards and roll freely backwards. So it clicks forwards, and then my hands are not on the lever, okay? It'll roll backwards, but it just wants to give me a bunch of hate. Let's try to pop that blade off. That did not seem to be on there very tight. Those blades are just horrifying. Just to make sure we're working on, you know, stuff that's clean. There's a lot of that in here. Let me get that out before we go any further. I don't know if this is the issue or not. Let's get this guy first. You can see those, just that general witnessing on there. So I'm trying to get that piece right there is resting on it. So I want to try to get that as much removed from that situation as I can. Well, I can say that it is not perfect, but it rolls 100 times more freely. Still needs a little attention. Fairly confident I can hear those plastic bushings. Let me get that popped off and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I got that wheel off. It's not that big of a deal. There's just a couple snap rings, a couple little washers. Part of the shaft right here, I think this would be considered a bushing. There's this plastic bushing that goes on and it can just get kind of hung up on some stuff in there. I also have just a little bit of 400 grit sandpaper. So there's almost no resistance, whereas before I could feel a little bit. Maybe that did something, maybe it didn't. I'd like to think it did. Let's just say it did something. I'm gonna do the other side. I'm not gonna do that on camera. If you are here specifically to learn how to take this apart, happy to have you here, but there's probably a lot of other better, more specific, focused videos on this particular model. But for here, you're just kind of getting the cliff notes. So let me put this back together, see if that did anything. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean with that forward and back. So it clicks forward. Now you can see it wants to roll back. So I can still feel a little bit of resistance, but from what it was before to what it is now, it's a million times better. As you see how bald that wheel is, I know we probably mentioned that earlier in the video. When it wasn't pulling backwards at a standstill, those wheels were locked, and so you drag it, right? And over time, that dragging is just gonna wear out the treads versus if they can just roll freely like the front ones. I think we may have a little bit of a bent crankshaft. It is very, very, very subtle. So I want you to focus your attention right on that nut. And if it's not spinning perfectly, you know we have a bit of lopsidedness. Again, I don't know how well that's showing up, but I felt a little bit of a vibration when it was running, and that just kind of confirms it. It's not unusable. I want to put the blade back on, and I just want to rotate it around and see if the deviation is substantial. That coupling piece, it might just be that. The actual crankshaft itself might not be bent, but that will still cause the vibrations or whatever. So let me get the blade back on, and if it doesn't look too bad when I manually spin it around, then we'll just carry on. So that is supposed to be flat. You see how it it wings up. Where my blacksmith's at, that's probably the best work that I will ever do in my whole life. I can't top it. I seriously can't top it. I'd say it's within a 1/16 of an inch maybe. And that coupler can get pretty beat up too. I think it might be just as simple as this bracket is just loose. Yeah, that's all it was. Well, that was much more simple than I thought it would be. It's crazy to me what people will just absolutely be terrified of thinking that they can or can't fix. And all you need is just a ratchet. I almost forgot too. I got an air filter box cover and got an air filter. Not OEM. I think they might be Stens. think I mentioned this, but that air filter and air box, that was $8.50 on Amazon. We'll just round up because we put a little bit of oil in it. We'll just say we have 40 bucks into this thing. It's probably 130 to 150. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up button. I really appreciate all the interactions that you guys have with this video. Hopefully I've earned your subscription. A lot of the content that I have on this channel is similar to this one. I've been kind of copying and pasting this style from the last few videos of this epic mower reveal at the end. I'm enjoying it right now. I don't think it's gonna be that way forever, so I'm just kind of savoring it while it lasts. I'm always evolving this channel. I'm always growing certain things that we do differently and trying different new things. So I know that's not gonna last forever, and I'm okay with that. But I'm enjoying it right now and I'm having a blast. So hopefully you enjoyed, and this video brought you some entertainment, hopefully some value. And I want to leave you with one thing. I heard this the other day and it hit me like a sack of bricks. There's a story of a teacher who stood up in front of his class. The teacher held up a $100 bill and he said, "Show of hands, how many of you think this has value?" Everybody raised their hand. The teacher took the $100 bill, crumpled it up, and he said, "Show of hands, how many of you feel this still has value?" Everybody raised their hand. So then he took the $100 bill and he threw it down. He stepped on it. And he asked the same question. He said, "Once again, how many of you still feel that this $100 bill has value?" Everybody kind of looked around and reluctantly raised their hand. The teacher said, "No matter what happens to you in life, you're going to get crumpled up and you're going to get thrown down and stepped on. But no matter what, your life still has value." I heard that the other day. Maybe it's just because I'm in a place right now where I'm struggling a little bit with that. And boy, did that hit me hard. Hopefully that hits home with some of you. Your life has value. Even if you don't feel it, even if you don't think it does right now, this current chapter, whatever you're going through, your life still has value. Just like that $100 bill that's crumpled up, thrown down on the ground, your life still has value.